Good morning, everybody. I'd like to call to order the City of Las Vegas Historic Preservation Commission for May 29th, 2024. Please call the roll, determine if we have a quorum.
Colleen Beck has joined.
Chair Stodel,
Present.
Vice Chair Laramie,
Here.
Commissioner Levine, Commissioner Beck,
President.
Commissioner Hotchkiss, Commissioner Serfas,
Here.
Commissioner Cosgrove,
Here.
Commissioner Palacios, Commissioner Moody,
Here.
Commissioner Perdue, Commissioner Roberts,
Here.
Commissioner Seabrandt,
Here.
Commissioner Gillespie.
Present.
Thank you. We do have a quorum.
And how many on the telephone?
So far, Commissioner Beck, 1.
Are we expecting any more?
Commissioner Hotchkiss and Palacios were supposed to join us, but they haven't yet.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Agenda item number 2, announcement regarding compliance with the open meeting law. Are we in fact in compliance?
Yes, we are.
Thank you. Agenda item number 3 is public comment during this portion of the agenda. The comment must be limited to matters on the agenda for action. If you wish to be heard, come forward and give your name for the record. The amount of discussion, as well as the amount of time any single speaker is allowed, may be limited. Would anybody like to speak at this point? Seeing and hearing none, we will move on to agenda item 4, which is the chair's announcement. The only announcement that I have at this point is we have really one primary item on today's agenda, and that's the award ceremony. And we'll do that early on in the agenda. The recipients and their guests need not stay for the entire HPC meeting. The dining hall, the restaurant will be open at 12:30, so if you'd like to go over there and partake in a fine meal and a cup of coffee or a glass of water or something, you don't have to stay through the entire meeting, but you're more than welcome to stay with us. That said, we will move on to agenda item 5, possible action to approve the final minutes by reference of the special meeting of April the 22nd, 2024. Any changes, comments, corrections? If not, look for a motion to approve.
Motion to approve the agenda as presented. Commissioner Cosgrove.
Further discussion? General public? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Telephone?
Commissioner Beck,
Aye.
Chair votes with the people in attendance. Motion carries unanimously. We'll wait for the votes to come up. Or we'll go on to, there they are. Then let's move on to the next agenda item, which is 624-0259-HPC1, discussion for possible action regarding approval of funding in the amount of $736 for the production of a bronze plaque for the historically listed Christensen House at 500 West Buren Avenue. This is Award 5. Any comments, questions? If not, we'll look for a motion.
Sorry, Chairman, just
Yep.
statement for the record, if I could just jump in here and say that this is the property that we did add to the National Register of Historic Places, and now it's on the Las Vegas Historic Property Register, and this is the ceremony we do with the ward in order to present the plaque to this property, and they can mount it and show everybody that they are on our register. And we'll be using HPC funding for this, and that's what we need approval on.
Thoughts, comments?
Quick comment, Commissioner Roberts, is this is a little cheaper than the last plaque, which seems like a good thing, but it's the same size and all that?
As statement for the record, as a point of clarification, the last time they gave us an incorrect quote, and it actually did cost the same amount of the $736. And so even though the commission approved above that, what we did not use went back into the HPC bank. So that is the price.
Excellent, thanks for the clarification.
Look for a motion.
Commissioner Levine, I'll move to approve.
All right, we have a motion. Further discussion by the commission? General
Yes,
public,
I have a question.
please.
Commissioner Burdick, what's the size?
Microphone?
12 by 8 is the size.
All right, we have a motion. Further discussion, general public. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Telephone?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously with the chair voting with those in attendance. Let's move on to agenda item number 7, 24-0261-HPC1, report by the Community Development Department regarding the presentation of the 2024 Historic Preservation Commission Awards. Dr. Seabrand?
Seabrand for the record. So what we'll be doing is the chairman and vice chair and a couple of the other members will be reading out the narrative of the nomination of why everybody here was nominated for one of our awards. And then we ask you to please come up here. I'll hand you the award, stop for a photograph, and then at the end, we'll ask everybody to come down to do a group photo. And then we'll be posting this on our social media because this is Historic Preservation Month, so we want to continue to promote that. And then, as the chairman was saying, we just have a few more orders of business after that. You're welcome to stay, or if you want to go to the Now Cafe, it is your choice. But I think, I don't want to jinx this, but I think we're going to go fast.
Then we will move on with the agenda as it's written. The first one is Oscar P. Goodman. And let me read a little bit of what it says. Please come forward. As it turned 70 years old, the federal building was officially declared surplus by the U.S. government, putting its future in doubt. But it became a textbook case of adaptive reuse. The building today, inside and out, is preserved and continues to serve the public and preserve the history of Las Vegas and the United States. When Las Vegas Mayor Oscar Goodman found out the federal government was going to empty and declare the building as surplus, this is the first federal courthouse in Las Vegas, his response was to save it and come up with a plan not only to save the building, but to bring it up to current building codes, including earthquake compliance. And then he came forward with a public plan and a plan to protect the building. There are lots of great ideas that are out there, Mayor. Lots of wonderful ideas to save and preserve buildings. But something more is needed, and that's a plan, and that's a way to fund it, and then the action to get it done. And we all know in this room and in this community that getting this done was not an easy project. And so for that and for all the work you have done and are doing in preserving the history of Las Vegas, we thank you and give you this small award, a small thing for all the tremendous work that you've done. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Is this a time I'm supposed to make a long speech? Okay, well, lie back and get ready. A book came out recently about Las Vegas, and there was a chapter about the Mob Museum in it, and the chapter was entitled From Villain to Visionary. And it focused primarily on me, because I'll never forget when I broached the idea of having a museum in the old U.S. courthouse and post office, and it was determined that the only museum that would generate the kind of foot traffic that we would hope would come into a downtown that was in a state of malaise at the time and becoming rubble and on the edge of blight was something that would entice the public there. And I went home that night and I said to, she was not the mayor at the time, I said to the mayor, I said, sweetheart, what do you think of a mob museum? And she had no idea what I was talking about, nor did I. I had no idea what we were about to get involved in, but we called up the surplus office of the General Service Administration in San Francisco, and they said they would sell us the building for $1 on two conditions. One, that we restore it to its original condition, and two, that we make it into a museum. And I was raised in a very cultured home back east, and I was used to having beautiful artwork as part of my life, and I knew that nobody was going to come downtown to see a Cézanne or a Picasso or a Renoir or any of the great artists. That is not what Las Vegas was about. And I tossed and turned that night, and I said, where do we come from? And it dawned on me, we were unique. We came from the mob. That we're born from the mob, and the mob had a real interest here, and I said, we're going to have a mob museum. And then the Italian-American community here, and rightfully so, because they had no idea what to expect, said, Oscar's building a building in his own image. He's building a building that will glorify his clients. And I saw that we were sinking fast, Bob, and the project wasn't getting the kind of support that I had hoped for it. And fortunately, Ellen Knowlton, who just retired from the FBI at the time, agreed to speak with me, and I said, I know we've been at odds with one another over all these years, but you could do me a favor. Would you mind being our chairperson of the board? And she started to go like this, and she said, well, wait a second. I'm not going to make the decision unilaterally. Let me go back to the J. Edgar Hoover building and see what their attitude was. And to my surprise, the FBI said, I think it's a great idea as long as it's going to be even-handed. It has to represent law enforcement's efforts in Las Vegas as well as the mob's history here. And the only person who really could get that on was Ellen, and overnight we became legitimized. The point that is most important, and you can appreciate this, Bob, the people who came forward to be on the board of the Mob Museum have been an extraordinary group of people. Lawyers, architects, accountants, folks from the gaming industry, even a couple of old newspaper guys. And they all chipped in with their capital of working hard to make it a success. And I'm so happy that we didn't listen to one person, and that's the reason I'm happy we get this award, because I share this story with all of you. We had a councilman by the name of Bob Beers, and Bob Beers said, if this thing works, if you get people to come there, I will run around your downtown naked. So I was hoping that it would work, but I dreaded the idea of seeing Beers running around downtown naked. So with that, Mr. Chairman and members of the commission, thank you for listening to my remarks. It's very kind of you. I cherish this kind of award because it's just a small piece of what makes Las Vegas a great place to live. People volunteering their time, their energy, their expertise, selflessly, in order to make Las Vegas the greatest city in the world, and I thank you very much for it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Sure. Okay, good. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And just for the record, this is officially the Bricks and Mortar Award. The sole recipient is the good mayor. Our second category is advocacy, and our first awardee is the Honorable Richard Bryan, and Senator Bryan, retired U.S. Senator Bryan, former Governor Bryan, former Attorney General Bryan, former Senator Bryan, former Assemblyman Bryan, and an active member of the Commission for the Centennial of Las Vegas. He is with his grandchildren today in Reno, and please include within the record the nomination details. I'll read just a bit of it. Senator Bryan was instrumental in the city obtaining the rights to the name Eldorado and Eldorado Days. Eldorado was established in 1935 by the Elks, a multi-day festival including parades, and later on a rodeo and a beauty contest and a whisker contest. And for a long time, for the better part of 60 years, Eldorado was a significant portion of this community. It was a community event. And then in 2005, with the work of then Mayor Oscar Goodman, the City Centennial Commission refunded Eldorado Days and funded it for several years. The name Eldorado was the name that was owned by the Elks, at least as far as in the state of Nevada. And through the work of Senator Bryan, an Elk, he was able to move the ownership of that historic phrase. And with the help of the current Mayor Goodman, it is now owned by the city. And Senator Bryan gets the award for specific advocacy for that. But there are, like the good mayor, many other things that Senator Bryan has done and is doing to preserve the history of the state of Nevada and Las Vegas. So with that, we'll move on to another person who has done and is doing a lot to preserve the history of the entire community, and that's Councilman Cedric Creer. And for that, we will have, please.
Cedric is a tireless worker for his ward and has produced significant change throughout the city, benefiting individuals and organizations. Although the 100 Plan was initiated in 2016, Cedric took it off the shelf and has focused on revitalizing historic urban West Side over the last several years by preserving the unique West Side character, improving the quality of life, and promoting economic development. Millions of dollars have been allocated for historic West Side projects through grants and philanthropic and government partnerships. Additionally, the historic West Side Legacy Park was developed by Cedric Creer, partnering with former Commissioner Weekly. It was a joint City of Las Vegas and Clark County endeavor. This beautiful park, near the southwest corner of Lake Mead and Martin Luther King Boulevard, opened in 2021 and pays tribute to prominent figures who helped develop historic West Side. Cedric is keenly aware of what needs to be done to revitalize historic West Side, and he and his staff work closely with the HPC office and the commission to fulfill. And he continues to be a tireless worker for West Las Vegas and for his entire ward. Cedric Creer.
Just add a little to that. You have the benefit and the luxury and the honor of representing most of the historic parts of our community. Many of the National Register sites are within your ward. And yes, hats off to all the work you've done for the West Side and continue to do that. But you also keep a strong arm around the rest of the historic sites in the city of Las Vegas, and we thank you for both of those things. It's not an easy job. A brand new part of town is easy to take care of.
Yes.
A little bit older one that goes back to 1855 is a little tougher, so thank you for all the work you've done.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you to members of the commission, especially to my commissioner, Michelle Perdue, who I have known my entire life. I grew up in her home. Like the mayors, I grew up in her home as well, and so it is a privilege and an honor to be here. I have the privilege of being born and raised in this community and seeing this community grow, and a person that has lived in the house that he has grown up in since my parents passed, and so I definitely understand the history of our city. I always say that we are old enough where we've known a lot about our city, but we're still, young enough where we're moving our community forward. We are charting a path forward. We're literally taking a pen and a piece of paper and charting where we're going, but we cannot forget where we've come from. There is such a rich history in this city. Such amazing people have come through. I have the honor of serving on the Centennial Commission along with Chairman Stoddall, with Mayor Goodman, with Senator Bryant. And I tell you, just being in the room with these individuals and absorbing the knowledge that you hear is priceless. And when you get an opportunity, if anybody does get an opportunity to spend some time with those individuals, it is pretty amazing. I can't tell you how many times I've sat with Senator Bryan when I was on the Board of Regents or whatever, and you mention a topic, subject matter, I don't care what it is, Senator Bryan goes in about, well, back in the, so, and it's just great to hear. And so thank you for the honor. The work that we are doing with the 100 Plan in Action is very special. It has transformed our community. Our community was in stagnation for decades, and when I got in office, I vowed not to let that happen again. We are going to do what we said we're going to do. Just yesterday, we broke ground on a $16 million workforce development center right at the corner of Jefferson and D Street, which is going to train our community in manufacturing, construction, information technology, and healthcare. A brand new, beautiful building that is going to not only beautify the community, but also is going to transform the community. So we are making forward strides, and it's all based off of the strategic initiative of the 100 Plan in Action. And so I thank you all very much for recognizing it. You know, we don't do this, I always say, we don't do these jobs to get recognized, at least I don't. But when you look back on the time that you have served, I always said this, we are blessed to serve in these positions for a finite amount of time. What are you going to do to make a difference? And I believe that my time served, I will look back and say, we've made a huge impact. So thank you for recognizing it. Very humbled by this. You have no idea what this means. So thank you all very, very much, and God bless you.
Thank you. Another award in the area of advocacy is the Plaza Hotel and Casino Marketing Team, which has worked with the Centennial Commission and the HPC for several years to promote and preserve the history of our community. And with that is Vice Chair Clariman.
So the Plaza in downtown Las Vegas recently celebrated their 50th birthday and has continued to be a historic anchor in the Las Vegas downtown community and also in our tourism industry here. Over the past decade, the Plaza has heavily invested in upgrading and modernizing its facilities, all without compromising the historic integrity of its Main Street facade and exterior. And it's my opinion that the marketing department has been particularly impressive in their efforts to infuse the property's history within their business today. Nostalgic advertisements show timeless photographs that spark our emotional ties to the past while still being relevant to our community and to tourism. And these help ground not only the Plaza building, but downtown and Fremont Street in our shared history and help advocate for preserving this history within our modern city. So thank you for your efforts.
And again, this is also within Councilman Creer's award, one of the most historic sites in our community, the Railroad Depot, and just a few feet away from the Plaza, of course, is where the auction was held back in May of 1905. So truly and we're glad to see that the Plaza is honoring the history of this site, so please.
So, yeah, thank you for the recognition. Our marketing leaders, congratulations. Is that better?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, Natasha and Sarah are marketing leaders, and really the entire Plaza team that does a terrific job. I've been the general manager for only a year and a half, but I could tell you it's a fun property, a lot of energy, a lot of excitement at the Plaza and downtown, my first time in the market. But Jonathan Jossel, who's our CEO and is traveling, so is not able to be here today, is a great visionary and leader for the Plaza and for all of downtown. And he has been, along with our marketing team and the entire Plaza team, really been able to preserve the history of our very iconic property while still modernizing it. And so we've added these amazing amenities over the last couple of years, especially a wonderful patio to Oscar's Steakhouse, which is a very, very successful part of our property, and there's a lot of history there. Our carousel bar and a number of amenities that really have added that modern twist while, again, preserving our history of a very iconic property. So thank you for the recognition. I know that Jonathan would have loved to have been here, but I will take it back to our team and share it with them, and thank you. I will. Sarah is our marketing manager, and Natasha is our director of marketing. So thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
And for this one, I'm going to turn it over to Commissioner Todd.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I want to take this opportunity to congratulate all the recipients this afternoon, but especially Councilwoman Nancy Bruni. As a resident of Ward 6 who enjoys Floyd Lamb Park on a daily basis, I know personally that she went above and beyond to save and protect our precious resource that is the park. Just this morning, my wife and I enjoyed 4 peacocks and a peahen who jumped over the fence and were in our backyard. In May of last year, Councilwoman Bruni facilitated City Council's approval of a resolution to protect Floyd Lamb Park at Tule Springs. Formerly owned and operated by the state of Nevada, the park was transferred to the city of Las Vegas in 2003 with very specific requirements for the park's use. In recent years, and since then, use of the park has expanded to include music, entertainment, fireworks, and late-night activities that many felt were inconsistent with the historical nature of the park and threatened wildlife resources that are unique to that area. Consistent with the city's 2005 Northwest Open Space Plan that acknowledges, quote, an emerging need and desire of Northwest Las Vegas residents to afford greater protection of historic and cultural landscapes that define and express the unique culture and heritage of the Las Vegas Valley, including Floyd Lamb Park, Councilwoman Bruni secured passage of a resolution to limit programming to more passive activities that would place minimal stress on site resources, emphasize historic and natural resource protections, and limit development. The resolution ensures that the city will use its best efforts to limit noise both in volume and in hours. So my family, our neighbors, Ward 6, the city of Las Vegas, and the wildlife of the park, thank you, Councilwoman Bruni, for preserving one of Las Vegas's best-kept secrets. Congratulations.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Commissioner Moody, I hope you returned the peacock and the peahen.
Need to, they jumped right back over the fence. Yeah.
I just want to say I'm really honored for this award. Thank you so much. You know, my husband grew up here across from the mayor's Goodman, but I've only been here 17 years, and I think because I'm pretty recent, I appreciate the historic resources that we have here in Nevada and the history, and I'm very proud to be a board member of Preserve Nevada, where we work to preserve historic places and buildings across the entire state. And I'm also very pleased that you chose to recognize our efforts to protect and preserve Floyd Lamb Park. I've enjoyed it for many, many years. It's not, unfortunately, the best-kept secret, because during COVID, you could not even find a place, a blanket to throw down, because everybody was out there. So unfortunately, for those of us who want to keep it a secret, everyone knows about it. And it's been interesting to see the last couple of years how much of a crown jewel it is for not only Ward 6, but also Nevada. We now have a city peacock breeding program, because folks from other parts of the valley came out and saw just, how amazing it was to actually have peacocks walking around at Floyd Lamb Park. And it's like a rallying cry that you can't have Floyd Lamb Park without the majestic peacocks there. So we are working to preserve all aspects of Floyd Lamb Park, including the amazing wildlife that beautifies the area. Finally, I just want to say, and I shared this with Commissioner Moody, I am accepting this award on behalf of all of the residents and neighbors. I showed up at the 11th hour and helped get this across the finish line, but really it was the advocacy efforts of Karen Livingston and Todd and other neighbors who have been working on preserving Floyd Lamb Park and drawing attention to the unique cultural resource it is and the importance of protecting it. They've been working on that for 4 or 5 years. So all of the credit really goes to them, and I'm happy today to accept the award on behalf of Ward 6 and the residents, especially those who live around Floyd Lamb Park. So thank you all for your efforts. I know Karen couldn't be here today, but she's on a cruise, but hopefully she'll see this, and I want to especially thank Karen for holding me accountable for making sure that we made good on the work that you all have done. So thank you.
Thank you. Next up is the award for career achievement. And this one goes to Professor Roosevelt Fitzgerald. He taught at UNLV from 1971 until his passing in 1996. Professor Fitzgerald received his master's degree from the University of Notre Dame. Starting in 1971, he was the coordinator of ethnic studies at UNLV. He dedicated his life to teaching and was a well-known and respected researcher of the Black experience in Las Vegas. Throughout his career, he took every opportunity through his classes, his writings, his public presentations to share his deep knowledge of Las Vegas and his personal experience with others. Professor Fitzgerald's spirit continues today through his legacy of work he has done in the hearts and minds and of those that were lucky enough to be one of his students. And I was one of his students. And so it's long overdue, but at least for the record, we are acknowledging the work that Professor Fitzgerald did. So thank you for all that.
Chairman,
Yes, please.
we're going to have Sue Kim with UNLV accept the award on his behalf.
Oh, welcome.
Oh, just, you said everything, Bob, about Professor Fitzgerald that I would have said, and in a much more eloquent way, but I would just like to say if anybody would ever, his writings, which are a living, breathing part of what his talents and what he believed, they're available for research and special collections and archives at UNLV, so, and they are online, accessible to everybody, so.
So thank you. Well, he arrived here in 1971, and the city has just begun working on the documentary of 1971, and that was, to use an overly used word, a very interesting and challenging period in the history of the city of Las Vegas. And I think that he helped move this community forward in many positive ways through his knowledge and just through his positive attitude in moving stuff forward. So thank you for accepting this.
Thank you for.
And don't go anywhere, because the next one's for you.
Our final category is preservation education, and in that category, Dr. Sue Kim Chung. Perfect spot. Michelle, Vice Chair.
Yes. Hi, Sue Kim. So a couple of us nominated Sue Kim for many of the same reasons. Sue Kim has been working to preserve Las Vegas history through her work with UNLV Library Special Collections since 1999. I'm willing to bet there's no one in this room that doesn't know Sue Kim or hasn't reached out and asked her a research question. But today, we're really honoring Sue Kim for her work that she's done to shine a spotlight on Las Vegas's important entertainment history, documenting the history of Las Vegas's showgirls and production shows. And as part of this work, she's conducted oral histories, organized and moderated community events and panels, and contributed to media coverage, all of which has helped highlight the experience and the importance of Las Vegas's showgirls and dancers within our community's history. Outside of these efforts, Sue Kim has provided outreach and education to help the greater community learn about and engage with the amazing archives and collections at Special Collections. She hosts classes, which I've attended, to help us understand how to research. She's also the author of the popular photo book, Las Vegas Then and Now, which she updates regularly with new information, which is awesome, and also writes a monthly photo history column for Downtown Las Vegas, DTLV.com. And these many contributions and more, which are too numerous to really list in a short speech, really helps preserve Las Vegas history and highlights the importance of how we as a community can interact and learn from that history moving forward. So thank you, Sue Kim.
Oh, gosh. Now I have to say something, which I thought the thing said no speeches, so I have nothing prepared. But so Chairman Stoddall, Michelle, Vice Chair Michelle, Laramie, and the Commission, thank you so much for this honor. And I'm such an honor to be in such esteemed company with these wonderful folks here. And I just love being able to give attention to all the wonderful entertainers in this town, and especially the dancers and showgirls who are such a part of the iconography of Las Vegas history. And I like to give them life and give them a voice to talk about their amazing times here in Las Vegas. And just in general, it's a joy and a pleasure to preserve and document Las Vegas history. And I have to say, my greatest honor is when somebody will talk to me about Las Vegas history and they'll say, oh, you know so much, you must be a native. And I always think that's the greatest honor I can receive. So thank you all so much.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I should grab that one as well. Thank you.
And our final award, again, and this is in the preservation education category, is to Boyd Production. To many people in Las Vegas, to many people outside of Las Vegas, all we are about is showgirls, gambling, mobsters, sorry, Mayor. But the history, of course, of Las Vegas, the development of this community, the community of Las Vegas, we are all of those things, but we're a lot more. The Centennial Commission of Las Vegas, a city commission, desired to tell the story of the growth of the famous city outside of the thing that's on the other side of Sahara. CNN recently did a very solid 4-part series on what they called the city of Las Vegas, and I think that they may have looked north of Sahara once, but most of it was about Frank and Liberace and Sammy and the Las Vegas Strip, which is a correct topic. But Las Vegas, the city, was here long before the Las Vegas Strip. And the Boyd Production Group was brought on board to help tell that story, tell the story of Las Vegas in 1905, and do it by decade by decade by decade. And these are not Chamber of Commerce films. These are stories of how the community faced the challenges of that period of being a desert community, literally out in the middle of the Mojave Desert. And the challenge of being sometimes a wide open town, but each year, each decade, the city moved forward, meeting all of those challenges. And so Boyd has done the work of presenting not a Chamber of Commerce film, but a real look at each of these communities, and a challenge to squeeze a decade of Las Vegas history into an hour is a monumental task, and to get it right and to get it factually correct is the goal. And that's what the Boyd Group has done, working with the city, very closely with the Centennial Commission, but going out and digging up human beings that have a connection with the growth and the development of the city. The 1960s was just premiered this past weekend, and work has already started on the 1970s. And with the mayor, who is chair of the Centennial Commission, there will be a documentary on the 80s, the 90s, and one wrapping up the entire centennial, the entire 100-year history of Las Vegas. And they're all something that the city is very proud of, along with the more than 10 million views on YouTube. So thanks to Boyd Production and all the work that they have done and are doing. Please.
Thank you all. This is such an honor, and I'm accepting it on behalf of a little army of creative people behind me that aren't here today, but are researchers and writers and editors, sound designers, et cetera, animators. And this is a job we take really, really seriously. I can't stress that enough. We care about every image that is included in the doc, every piece of film that is included in the doc. And we know that down the road, when I'm long gone and others, that people may use this as a source for future pieces of work, for media, for books, et cetera. And so it is very important to us to tell an accurate story. And I'm thankful that we have the time to do it. A year isn't a lot, but it's a lot more than many media outlets get to do their research, to do their archival research, and to edit and sound design. So anyway, we are deeply, deeply honored to be able to tell the story of this incredibly unique city. Thank you.
So don't go anywhere. Can we have everybody come down and everybody come up for a group picture, please?
Congratulations, everybody. Yeah. Double winner, look at you. Double fisted.
Oh, I see what you're doing.
Then we get, we're going to put my 10 minutes on for his. 5 minutes at 10, 15 minutes after you fall asleep.
Oh, isn't that right? We are on agenda item number 8. This is a report by the Community Development Department regarding the director's updates.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Seth Floyd for the record. I do not have any updates.
Ah,
That was quick and easy.
all right, then we'll move on to agenda item number 9, which is the report by the Community Development Department regarding the project update list, and I'm sure that there are updates.
There are a few, but I'll go through them quickly so we can all get to lunch. So everything is in progress as far as our surveys. Rafael Rivera will be presenting at our June meeting. Cliff Mays is in progress. And the Historic West Side School will have an update in June, and the Mormon Fort is later this summer. And we still have to look at a time to do our design guidelines meeting for Jonas Park and Beverly Green. El Dorado Days Parade, thank you for the commissioners that were participating. Mike was there, Teresa was there, Michelle, Chairman Stoddall, Colleen, who am I forgetting? Oh, Hollis. So, yeah, it was very successful. Hopefully next year we can do something a little bit more fancy, but it was a fun time, and I appreciate everybody that participated. And then our future agenda items, we are still waiting on all of these that are being worked on. And unless there's questions, I have nothing further.
Real quick, the first two on the previous slide, did I understand you say there'll be an update on the, are those in the Mormon Fort and the West Side School, at June meetings, you think, or?
So, yeah, the West Side School will be the second draft at the June meeting, but the Mormon Fort, we had to push it back. There was a delay, and I think it's August.
Okay, great, all right. Further questions from the commission? All right, then let's move on to number 10, which is 24-0262-HPC1, report by the Community Development Department regarding historic and archaeological resources in the local media. That's in your board packet. Unless there's any questions or comments, we will move on to 11. Discussion regarding topics for future agenda items. Comments made during this portion of the agenda by individual members of the commission shall refer solely to proposals for future agenda items, and discussion shall be limited to whether such proposed items are within the purview of the commission and or whether such proposed items shall be placed on a future agenda. No discussion regarding the substance of any of these such proposed topics shall occur, and no action shall be taken. Any questions, comments? Future agenda items? Future agenda items? Hearing and seeing none, let's move on to number 12, citizen participation. Public comment during this portion of the agenda must be limited to matters within the jurisdiction of the commission. No subject may be acted upon by the commission unless that subject is on the agenda and is scheduled for action. If you wish to be heard, come forward and give your name for the record. The amount of discussion on any single subject, as well as the amount of time any single speaker is allowed, may be limited. Would anybody like to speak at this point? Seeing and hearing none, we will move on to agenda item 13. We are adjourned to lunch.
So it's in the Now Cafe. When you exit these doors, turn left, and follow the smell of the food.